You know how you're in the drive-thru and you see what you're about to order? A pristine burger with a juicy patty, crisp lettuce, melted cheese, and a puffy, perfect, glistening bun? And you think about the most perfect burger that you've ever had in your entire life. And then you get it. And it's this lopsided, wrapped mass of delicious calories that looks like a mess and nothing like the burger that was in the picture. That's Marvel's Disney Plus to me so far. Is it what I ordered? Yes. Is it good? Yeah, it's satisfying. Enjoying it so far. Is it what I expected? It's all right. Falcon and Winter Soldier did nothing wrong. In fact, there's a lot of things that it did very well. So why don't I absolutely love it? Well, we're going to talk about that this week. I'm Dan Umpton, and this is the Doomcast. Falcon and Winter Soldier is a series I have a lot more complex feelings about than WandaVision. I think WandaVision positioned itself as a groundbreaking avant-garde mystery box, and it ended neither avant-garde nor did it solve its own mystery in anything other than a formulaic MCU-esque way. Falcon and Winter Soldier presented itself as a fun, buddy, action movie feeling show with a lot of stuff getting punched and wonked and kerranged, and it did exactly that. So why do I feel like I ordered Sprite and I ended up getting Sierra Mist? It ain't bad. Feels like it just doesn't hit quite the same way. Marvel's Netflix shows, they took risks and had grit. Jessica Jones. And we choose to forget Iron Fist, but even that didn't take the kind of risks that it needed to be what it should have been. I do like seeing Sam Wilson take his place that he rightfully earned, and I like seeing Buck finally invited to the cookout and recovering from his fast, but I feel like there's something that the show missed. I can't really put my finger entirely on what, but it did a lot of good things. So let's talk about those first. Power broker Sharon Carter is an interesting twist on a character that I don't find that interesting in comics. There wasn't going to be an obvious romantic relationship with Steve. Well, probably shouldn't have been. So what do? Well, here's what you do. Buck's arc was pretty decent. I mean, he went from being traumatized to bailing on dates with hot sushi baristas, to then trying to pick up Sam's sister, and then practically moving in with her. Also, he brought a pre-made dessert to the cookout because I guess all the aluminum foil is wrapped up in the Wakandan arm. But speaking of, I need to see what went on with Io. I feel like they did a lot more next to the campfire than just trying to break his conditioning. Outside of that, I really wish we had gotten to see more of the last conversation that he had with Mr. Nakajima. But why is it that Bucky was the only one that we got to see real consequences from? Speaking of, I thought John Walker was perfectly hateably played by Wyatt Russell. And I like a good redemption story and all, but the dude straight up committed murder on video and he never experienced real consequences for murder. A murder that was straight up symbolic, and not even lightly symbolic, of murders by police, even though he was like in the courtroom like, you made me this, and this is what you trained me to do. Dude, you should be in prison for the rest of your life, for real. You even got your best friend killed, and you fudged it to his parents. And what did you do? You lost your pension and your benefits? And instead Elaine Bennis comes out and gives you a new suit? Bro, No, you have it way too good. Speaking of Elaine, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, a pesto-flavored sexual fantasy created by Jim Steranko in the 1960s, is a sort of weird direction with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, when Sofia Vergara is right there. But I'm fully good with it. This works for me. I just want to see her and Nick's history. Ideally, they should have kept Carla Morgenthau alive, because she was one of the least boring MCU villains. She was like the inverse of Thanos, trying to give people more with very little power, relatively speaking. I'm not trying to pretend that she was a perfect person, but it's not even like Killmonger or Thanos, where they were like, the goal was admirable even if the means weren't. What was she guilty of at the outset of the show? Having power and not being under the control of the US federal government? Stealing money from a bank? Using it for mutual aid? Zemo didn't even do that much, short of escape from prison to his lavish assets and dance poorly. I mean, I like Brula Zemo, and he never really gets his hands all that dirty because he plays the long game. One of the things that bothered me the entire show, though, is that we decided to make bad guys out of good old-fashioned American standby boogeymen since Haymarket, the anarchists. Heaven forbid people want to continue to live in a world where imperialism has died because Thanos snapped it out of existence and borders are practically non-existent. I do not expect a Disney series built to appeal to children to fully put a finger on and identify the toxic imperialist idea of American exceptionalism and military interventionism that's creating human suffering on the planet Earth, or the neoliberal tendency to wring their hands at suffering while wiping their eyes with embroidered silk napkins and lamenting the lot of the people that they have willfully impoverished. They briefly came close with Sam, though. Way closer than I expected and way closer than I thought that Disney ever really would, but let's not forget that Disney is a machine that uses DoD and CIA liaisons and consultations, so it is what it is. But the most heartwarming part of this series was Isaiah Bradley, especially in the last episode. His creation was intentionally partly based on soldiers who were abused in the Tuskegee experiments. Both the secret history of that and the incredible power Isaiah clearly has, even now, his loyalty to his brothers in arms, all forgotten and discarded, seeing both Sam get recognition as the true Captain America and seeing Bradley get recognition and respect for what he endured after decades was really heartwarming to me. But I also recognize that to friends of mine who are black, this was also a lot more powerful a moment. Ryan Christopher Morrison said it best on our Henchman show, which is on Sundays at 11 on Noobs and Pros, run by arsonist the Gamer's Gamer Brian Weber. You should watch it. So I'm paraphrasing him, but a lot of the representation in media of black Americans is repackaging of trauma. It used to be slavery, now it's frequently shootings and Jim Crow, and I hadn't appreciated that until Ryan put it in that way. Seeing black joy and fulfillment, promise, honor, strength, power, and ingenuity is much more powerful than I can truly appreciate or understand. And for me, that's the beauty of fandom. And the most uplifting part of this show is that knowing that when I go to cons, when they come back, I'm going to get to see a lot of ingenious black cosplayers with a shield and wings because of the show. And to me, that's what has me coming back for another bite at the burger. Because even if it wasn't perfect to me, I'm glad it's somebody's custom order. Thanks for watching. This has been the Doomcast. We'll see you next week.